After the Wetwork Nightmare that the Knife Only Challenge run ramped up to become towards the end, I thought we'd mix things up with this next one. The nature of Turok is chaotic violence in every sense of the word, so this time around we'll be playing the game the way it was intended to be played and beyond. This means using every weapon at our disposal, minus the knife since we've already seen what the extent of that weapon is in this game, to cause devastation on a cosmic scale. Every man, robot, and dinosaur is wanted in pieces all across the Lost Land. We're still playing on hardcore difficulty to maximize the pain, but the litany of weapons we have access to this time means our enemies' days are numbered. The rules are getting a bit of an overhaul compared to the previous challenge. Every enemy in the game must be killed at least once. I'll show a hit list at the beginning of each level to give an overview of who's getting a visit from the Grim Reaper, but the general rule is, if they move, they die. Most enemies respawn, but killing them repeatedly isn't necessary. The entire game must be completed on a single life. If we die even a single time due to damage, falling, or some unexplainable glitch, we restart from scratch. Every weapon can be used here, except for the knife. It's better in the remastered version than I initially gave it credit for, since it can one-shot powerful enemies like High Priests and Humvees with backstabs. Every secret area must be visited, all 30 this time. I'm just going to keep a running count out of 30 at the bottom rather than breaking these up by level. Once again, all Spirit World portals must be visited. These are the blue portals that spawn in during the levels. All Chronoscepter pieces must be collected, and no cheats or console commands are allowed. Let the carnage begin. Since we get to cycle through the entire armory of weapons this time, I'll give a short summary of each weapon and give an idea of what their specialties are if they have one. Starting things off, the tech bow is actually a decent weapon that has a unique quirk to it. Charging it for 2 seconds until the glint appears on the arrowhead will allow it to deal increased damage, one-shotting certain enemies that would normally take quite a bit of punishment like Dimetrodons. It also has the benefit of tech arrows, which explode on contact and provide high damage on par with explosive shells. We'll get to those in a minute. Soon enough, we pick up the pistol as well. This is a weapon that we'll quickly replace, but even using a weak weapon like this feels incredible after being restricted from using projectiles for so long. The Stinger bullets that it uses are shared between it and the assault rifle when we get that. Since we made a point to highlight each key location last time, I won't spend too much time harping on them, but I'll leave an animation at the bottom when we pick them up as we go. After collecting Key 2, Secret Area 1 is easy to access, and after dispatching Sarge, we grab one of the best weapons in the whole game right off the bat, the auto shotgun. This shares ammo with a pump shotgun, which is right around the corner in the first Spirit World portal, but there's no reason to use the inferior boomstick with a slower fire rate unless you just want to admire the pump animation. Something awesome about the shotguns is that both of these weapons can punch way up in power when you pick up the explosive shells, and we'll see plenty of these later on in the game. Something weird about this first portal variant is the presence of minigun ammo tucked away in this corner. I'm guessing this is here to supplement the early one you can collect in level 2, but it's not something you're likely to find unless you stumble onto it by accident. Part of our hit list includes Rambi and Bambi, but they can sleep soundly knowing that they're part of the Lovecraftian horror that we're about to become when we get our hands on some more weapons. It's probably obvious that I didn't fully understand how the bow worked by this point. It took some digging after getting the footage for this video before I found out the inner workings of how the one-shot mechanic worked. Tech arrows don't take any brain power to use though, which is good news for me because I feel like detonating every pearl into extinction after the pain that they put me through last time. We're supercharged with 250 health after Portal 2, and fight against every fiber of our being to avoid touching the save point up here to prove that this is a deathless run. Muscle memory from last time is pressuring me to save at every opportunity, but there are no continues in life. Our first Splody boys are here for the taking, then I witness one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in this game when a deer swan dives into the water below. I think he knew my dark intentions and tried to break the game to save himself, but unfortunately for him, I'm now a ruthless assassin. After collecting the third key and technically blasting through another purlin,
It's not even a real laugh.
I vindictively slaughter one of the leaper colonies that gave me so much headache last time with the auto shotgun. Body blocking by these monsters is now a thing of the past. With spiritual invincibility now being fully legalized, we can show off what these things do as we turn into Quicksilver and line up 24 shots to hit every enemy at once. In the next cave, we get our hands on the Timu AK-47, aka the assault rifle, effectively making the pistol obsolete alongside the pump shotgun. With the extra health of many enemies on hardcore, there aren't a lot of instances where a single bullet is going to be useful over the 3-round bursts that we get from this upgrade. Some might call it overkill to blast beetles with explosive shells, but
What's about sending a message?
Nothing too interesting happens in the rest of the level. We pick up the last few collectibles in the maze and following areas, channel our inner Dale Gribble to exterminate a handful of pests, and rain fire on the Perlin Gunner to reach the hub ruins. Nothing of note in the first area of the jungle other than my fumbling attempts to avoid using the knife out of habit and losing 124 health to a common poacher. Things like this keep our ego in check and remind us that life is precious, and any second some low-resolution madman with an assault rifle can end it. Unrelated to this challenge, but after calling these things Doritos about 5 times in the last video, I found out that someone actually previously made a mod that turns all of these tokens into Doritos in-game. Great minds think alike, I suppose. Now that we're actually using weapons during a challenge, it's time to show how helpful the backpack is, especially in a deathless run. It doubles the carrying capacity for bullets, shotgun shells, both regular and explosive, grenades and rockets, and allows you to carry an additional fusion charge. You only lose it when you die, but I'll leave figuring out why that isn't an issue for this challenge as homework for the viewers. After recreating a scene from Predator in the upcoming village, the key and second portal are knocked out with minimal interference from McCartney, Lennon, Ringo, and Harrison. Get it? 'Cause they're Beatles. The Perlins are no match for explosive shells, and neither is a sergeant up the road. We're about to go on a trip, if you know what I mean. During this out-of-body experience, we pick up Chronoceptor Piece 2 and firebomb the Perlin before we take a leap of faith over the side to get up on the cliff. As we make our way towards the second key, I'm getting a concerning amount of enjoyment blasting the beetles with a shotgun. Something about popping these guys like popcorn is so therapeutic. Watching these bozos get conked by boulders never gets old either. Skipping ahead to the Leaper Cave, and our street sweeper continues to put in work. I thankfully came prepared this time around and blast the stalagmites and stalactites guarding Secret Area 7 that we had to unfortunately skip last time. Once I grab the minigun, my joy becomes immeasurable. This is one of the best weapons in the game, a stark contrast from the original N64 release of the game. Not only does it positively shred any red-blooded enemies, it also does okay against green-blooded ones, and picking up an ammo box completely restores all 500 rounds. Since I brought up the red-green blood topic, I'll explain that a little bit more. Weapons in this game have highly specialized damage profiles when it comes to the different enemy types. For example, you may notice that enemies like aliens don't take much damage from a minigun, while an assault rifle deals full damage to them. Knowing which enemies have resistances to various damage types can be helpful in conserving ammo and taking out high damage enemies more quickly. Certain projectiles like explosive shells and the pulse rifle are solid against every type of enemy, so they're great Swiss Army knives when there are a lot of different enemies closing in on you. Anyway, we take out the last few enemies and swing by the last key as we make our way back to the hub ruins. We've returned to Machu Picchu, and it's time to make Arnold proud. This shows the unfettered destruction that you can cause with a minigun. No ancient warrior, poacher, or sergeant is safe from this legendary lead spitter. After going for a swim to wash off the people juices in Portal 1, we head up to the big city to commit war crimes, but our goldfish-like attention span leads us into Portal Dos. Once we're out and about, we take a tour through the town and leave nothing but a smoldering pile of wreckage in our wake. Once we're finished violating the Geneva Convention, we take a quick respite into the city's first secret area and plate up before hopping up top. We already feel invincible with this much firepower, but we might as well pick up the Seizure Toad invincibility on our way up to the first shiny key. The next area is absolutely swarming with raptors. I think there are about 8 of them in this one area alone. Just this area should add Dinosaur Hunter back to the title screen. Once we slip through this tiny crevice like we're cave diving, we pop out and land in
Overkill.
with a tech arrow and continue our disregard for common sense and smart use of our explosives. Instead of 50 knife slashes while staring at a brick wall, 5 Dragon's Breath rounds is enough to slay Winston and buff our health into the stratosphere. Might as well embrace our inner Terminator and throw on the metal armor as well to counteract my extremely smooth brain antics in combat. Once we pick up the second key at the crossroads and deal with the vermin outside, it's time to head inside and reunite with our old friends.
Hi there.
The night and day difference in taking one down in 6 seconds versus 68 seconds from the last challenge really sums up the breath of fresh air that this run has been so far. Once we head through the portal that leads to the largest area of the level, we're quickly surrounded on all sides by dinosaurs and warriors.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bam! Bam!
We're really showing the versatility of the assault rifle in this area. 200 rounds of bullets and an impressive range of the weapon means it's perfect for taking down leapers, soldiers, poachers, raptors, and ancient warriors, even putting out decent damage against purlins. The auto shotgun and tech arrows take the beast down more quickly, but it's a lot easier to hit 3 hit scan bullets versus every pellet of a shotgun shell. We're brimming with confidence, ammo, life, and armor by now, but we're also entering the biggest fall death hazard of the entire game. Because we're going scorched earth on every enemy, we have to hop on each one of these purple life token pillars to spawn in the enemies waiting in low orbit to drop down onto the adjacent platforms. This means we need to hop up to 14 different pillars to spawn everyone in, kill them, then hop over to the climbable wall and hit Secret Area 10 and the Chronoceptor Peas. The clench zone has never felt so tense. While we don't have the Humvee killing knife anymore, we more than make up for it with the tank busting power of the explosive shells from the auto shotgun. The minigun does decent damage, but the tech arrows hit about as hard as explosive shells, so we send both vehicles into the scrapyard in no time flat. If the Longhunter didn't have an easy time dealing with us with a knife, there's no amount of prep that could give the wannabe Davy Crockett the edge here. On top of having full access to an unending weapons arsenal this time around, each boss fight room has infinitely spawning ammo drops to make sure you don't have to do what I did last time and bring a knife to a gunfight. After a few seconds of blasting with the auto shotgun and dumping a full belt of minigun ammo into him, the Longhunter goes down, and we pick up another one of the best weapons in the game from him, the pulse rifle. This weapon fires superheated energy blasts with a fairly slow fire rate, but the projectile size is absolutely massive, the damage is great against all types of enemies, it's perfectly accurate to wherever you're aiming, and it only uses a single energy cell per shot. After getting some quick use out of the pulse rifle and showing how devastating it is, we head out to the cliffside towards Key 8 and get the nerve-wracking platforming out of the way early on in the level. We've already hit 9 lives and 99 life force tokens, so if all goes according to plan, we won't need to pick up any more of them. We can only hope that I don't slip on a banana peel and slide over the edge during any of the upcoming platforming in these levels. After showing this bozo how to properly use a pulse rifle,
I'm calling a lot of people bozo now. It's like my new thing.
we push the Dimetrodon further towards extinction and break out the pistol as pest control for the dragonflies. Basically, the only use for it at this point. Since we're so kitted out with ammo and health that we don't even need to dip into the reserves at this point, we pop in and out of the portal to demonstrate that the new meta for hunting is using explosives to flash cook venison on the spot. The High Priest was a problem last time, but 5 explosive shells puts the heretic down, and we make sure to clean house on everyone, even the sergeant tucked away at the cliff edge that's easy to miss. It only takes 100 minigun ammo to shred through the giant purlin, opening up the entrance to the underground temple for the next key and secret areas. After using the minigun to turn the sergeants at the entrance into sludge, we pull out the shotgun and shred through the infested hallways before stepping into Portal 2. We've burned through pretty much all of our minigun ammo at this point, but thankfully this secret area has a full box of joy that we can share with our enemies. Cue the Doom music. pulse rifle is so good at range, and we blast through the sergeants with no problem at all here. With the second key in tow, we're on our way out, but not without paying our respects to the leapers patrolling the hallways. I almost feel bad for the High Priest now that we can actually shoot them, but given how many blue fart clouds we had to suffer through with a knife, it's safe to say that we judged them appropriately. As if we weren't already packing enough firepower, we follow this weird spiritual journey walkway thing to get our hands on one of the best weapons in the entire game, the grenade launcher. Although it has the intrinsic drawback of dealing self-damage when detonating a grenade anywhere in the same zip code as you, the insane damage, high ammo count, 30 grenades with a backpack, and abundance of ammo make this a top-tier weapon. It never decreases in value for the rest of the game, so the stonks will only rise. After cleaning up the last of the enemies in the area, we head into the Chronoscepter Temple, but wait a minute. This is a kill everything challenge, right? Well, unfortunately, I missed the sergeant tucked away in this alcove around the corner and never came back to finish him off. A bummer to find this out after playing through the entire game, but no huge deal. Time to give the challenge another go.
So I missed.
Because I value your time, and somewhat value my own, I won't recount the entire next attempt up to where the last one left off, but I will point out anything noteworthy, if there is such a thing. One thing to mention about the no knife restriction is that the knife is the only way to attack enemies underwater. We need to get a bit creative with how we handle underwater leapers in this game, but I'm pretty confident we can find workarounds for this issue due to their intense bloodlust. No other major hiccups show up during the rest of level 1, so let's try to avoid catching malaria when we head back into the jungle. I might need to send the autopilot my brain is on in for repairs since I hop across this first gap out of habit and nearly blow this life immediately on a very easy section. It's going to be an important balance of patience to make sure we don't take a stupid death, but also to avoid being too patient and making a mistake because of it. Going out of the way for life force is a huge waste of time like I did here underwater, since extra lives aren't really that appealing when we're doing a deathless playthrough. Muscle memory on a 28-year-old game is a heck of a thing to break. I get my first ever sighting of a raptor falling off the cliff though, so it wasn't a complete waste to revisit this place. This beetle is ledge camping me at the top of the cliff, and this weird behavior and pathing that these guys have is going to be a major headache. Only natural that the easiest enemies to kill with a knife during the last challenge are one of the biggest problem children this time. We didn't have any other big issues pop up in this level, other than poor ammo management leading to us running out of explosives and not having what we need to access the cave's secret area. We had to go pick up the tech arrows near the end of the level and backtrack to mark this one off of our list. While it probably isn't going to be a big issue in the long run, managing ammo properly is going to be a good skill to have when we go up against the Juggernaut tier enemies like Triceratops in the later levels. After clearing the ancient city, Duke Pukem folds like laundry after we Jesse Ventura his Humvees. Okay, finally back to the ruins. Key 8 is a quick and easy pickup, and this time around we head through the Smithsonian and bring life to the statues only to snuff it out. Some people might say it's unfair to abuse the minigun to snipe the High Priest from so far away that they can't really defend themselves, but to those people I say, shut up! We head back underground, even easier than the last time since we have the grenade launcher to orbital strike these sergeants, then commit the G word on everything in the temple to reclaim the final key.
Come on over here. Come on over here. No, you flip me off. Come on, coward. No. Come on. You're not an intellectual. You're a fake and a fraud.
This time, we remember to terminate Sarge and jump into the Chronoscepter Temple to clear it out and stock up on an armory's worth of grenades at the secret areas. My days of Modern Warfare 2 prepare me for the danger close explosive tactics that we need to employ against these gargoyle leapers. These are some of the highest health enemies in the entire game, and we end up torching ourselves for over 75 health just from splash damage. Drastic problems require drastic solutions, and we head out of the temple, pop a few dragonflies, and make our way to the Catacombs. Level 5, the Catacombs, is a short level, but it's one of the most annoying for a scorched earth challenge like this, since the maze section is crawling with about 60 leapers that respawn very quickly and very often. No time to worry about that though, since we're going up against our first Priest Lord guarding Key 1, and holy ammo dump Batman, these guys are insanely durable. We really had it made when we played through with the knife, since one stab in the back is enough to take them out. This time though, we can use the glorious pulse rifle, and we put it to good use as we make our way back toward the secret area that I missed initially in the knife-only playthrough. The screeching gremlins are waiting for us in the E. coli pool, and we stomp them out and knock out our first spirit world portal. The amount of destruction that you can cause with a minigun just can't be summed up in mere words. It's like the feeling you got on Christmas morning when you went downstairs to see if Santa Claus came before realizing he stole your surround sound system and fenced it at a pawn shop. We show off our tunnel rat skills from Vietnam and squeeze out into the pool with a battle against the other Priest Lord guarding the Chronoceptor piece. Once again, the minigun proves its worth as we load him up with so many bullets that he dies from acute lead poisoning on the spot. After popping our attack visor, we leave a trail of bullet casings and bodies behind and make the ancient warriors regret the day they picked a fight with someone who's insane enough to play through each Halo campaign on Lasso, multiple times. We're in the maze and cave section now. Once you remember what's on each path, there's still the obstacle of killing about 60 leapers alongside purlins, beetles, ancient warriors, and high priests for good measure. There is something helpful here that could make it a lot easier to keep track of which enemies we've eliminated, but you'll just have to wait. To sum it up, we shot, they died, we found more secret areas, we shot, they died, we found more areas, we portaled until we finally reached this area with an underwater path opened by this here switch. Here we can find the shockwave weapon. It got a huge nerf from the N64 release of the game because of the low charge damage reduction, but it has a useful property that we'll touch on in a second. These underwater leapers are some of the most annoying enemies to deal with in the entire run since I banned the slicey boy, but if you're patient and deliberate, unlike me, you can lure them up to the water surface and gun them. Anyways, back to the shockwave weapon. It has the useful effect of freeze-drying any no-lifey enemies, destroying their remains and preventing them from endlessly respawning. This is really useful for clearing these hallways of leapers and not needing to worry about whether you got them all or not. Time to head upstairs and go spelunking.
Spelunking?
Yeah, you know, cave diving.
You expecting to run into much gunfire in these caves?
Yes.
And destroy enough life to make Agent Orange look like a mild environmental incident. Like any grounded person, we start blasting dragonflies with a shotgun, almost fall into a bottomless pit, get a key, drain the pool, and prepare to eradicate the giant bug. This time, we are not playing around. We kick off the fireworks with some grenades, and once the Mantis reaches 3/4 of his health, he starts throwing a tantrum and knocking down walls like he got his V-Bucks stolen. Between our pulse rifle, grenade launcher, and explosive shells, Dr. Toboggan stood no chance, and we're entering the tough part of the game now. As you can see from the manifesto length hit list, there are literally hundreds of enemies in this level that we have to eliminate, and one slip on a banana peel is going to send us straight back to the title screen. Even on hardcore, the soldiers and poachers get absolutely annihilated in one shot. We just need to make sure we're not missing a cave up high with a gunner hiding in it to ruin our decimation streak. This absolute buffoon throws a grenade at point blank and takes himself out, his friend, and drops a tree on my head all in one disastrous second. My shoulder starts hurting just looking at another one of these giant monkas, but 6 grenades is a welcome change to deal with him in less than a minute and a half. Portal 1 and 2 are done at the lake, and we head up to the treetops for the scarier half of the level. At this point, things are actually pretty chill. No!
Fell.
Ugh.
So I missed again.
Attempt number 3, and we're starting to become very efficient with our gameplay. We burn through level 1 with no issues, and because you get each of the keys for levels 2 and 3 during it, you can actually do levels out of order here if you wish. We're going to go for level 3 first this time around, partially to mix things up a bit, and partially because some of the platforming challenges that I thought might be better to get out of the way earlier. Everything was pristine on the ancient city until... After this traumatic event caused us to change our gaming diaper, we made it back on the next attempt and hopscotch across here with no problems. We did the levels in order this time, so 3 of them are done at this point. In general, platforming is by far the biggest challenge for us dying, as demonstrated, so I'll just touch on the heart attacky parts like this and point out any mishaps and skip over the rest. Things actually got a bit dicey here in the Catacombs maze cavern when we were burned and dropped down to 34 health, but we got it together and picked up a full health to stave off the Grim Reaper, which is basically us at this point anyways. Okay, we're back to the Treetop village, and this time we'll make sure not to get hit with a haymaker when we make it back to the second half of the level. Now that we've returned to where it all went so wrong before, we keep our distance and launch grenades to make sure the Purlins are good and dead before they get close. After we chew through a high priest, a sergeant, and some soldiers, we make it up top and avoid this sausage with toothpicks sticking out like some Ewok trap. So, noteworthy blunder that we had right here. There's a poacher that also drops behind you that we need to take out and we miss, but spoiler, this wasn't the first issue like this that we had in the later levels, so hold tight for now. I didn't bother talking about this weapon when we first picked it up, but here's the alien weapon that we picked up in the lake. Because this also uses energy cell ammo, has a very annoying knockback that pushes enemies away from the explosion that it creates, and uses 5 energy cells per shot, it's pretty bad and not worth using over the pulse rifle. I just switched it up and tried it here for variety's sake to see if my previous experience about it being turbo doo-doo was still accurate. Sauce packet from the future here. I actually missed the alien weapon buff in the update notes from April 2025, so it might actually be worth using now. I still need to test it out to see how it stacks up versus the pulse rifle. We follow a long walkway up to the first key and demote both sergeants, then take the Purlins and high priests that spawn in from a safe distance with some holy hand grenades. I think this is going to be our MO from now on, so I don't have any more embarrassing vertically challenged moments off the edge of the map. The ancient warrior here tries to rush us, but I wet the craziest 3 of my life onto the pillar to show him what happens to people that challenge my authority. After moving up to the village, we get a quick peek at the Brachiosaurus that Night Dive added with a Kex 4 engine update earlier last year. I thought this was really cool since this was a cut creature from the beta that they added in just for some extra ambience here. So we're at the cave section, and this is another scary set of platforming. The easiest way to hit the right cave is to hop up to this platform like we did in the last challenge, take out the leapers, then head back down. After dealing with the sergeant and the Purlin, there's a daunting jump onto this narrow piece of terrain that we can use to hit the cave on the left. Once we get through and kill the leapers and sergeant, we have a clear shot to the first level 6 secret area and the quad rocket launcher. This is another powerful weapon, up there with the grenade launcher, but it doesn't hold quite as much ammo, has slower and more erratic projectile movement, think RPG from Call of Duty, and will absolutely eradicate your health if you accidentally fire a volley too closely. If these cornballs think they can hide from me in their crap shacks just because they're hidden in a cave, they're in for a surprise. We take out some high priests and clear the huts overlooking the final key, knock out the last few enemies, and get another look at Barack Obama. That is so stupid, I need to cut that. We hop behind the portal to hit Secret Area 23 and grab Chronoceptor P6 before finishing the level. Oh boy, the toughest platforming in the game.
Oh, my favorite!
I can only imagine how easy it's going to be to take out every enemy while making jumps on microscopic platforms and fighting off a 24-ton armed Triceratops. The Spirit World portal spawns are right here, so getting these knocked out so I won't forget later will probably be a good idea. After hitting the first one, we go Independence Day on the alien infantry, hop up the pillars, and try to avoid looking down.
Check!
I'm looking down!
And head through the portal and come back for the second Spirit World portal after dropping the columns. After breaking out the roundup to kill some pesky weeds, we go head to head with the first Triceratops of the run. After a measly 16 rockets and 12 grenades, he crushes his driver like King Theoden, and we take the opportunity to pick up arguably the most powerful weapon in the game, the fusion cannon.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
This has to be one of my favorite weapons in any video game ever made. After a slow charge up of about a second, it fires a screen-clearing fusion charge that will decimate any enemy in the game in a single hit, except for a Triceratops or a boss. The only drawback, unsurprisingly, is that ammo is very limited for this weapon. If I remember and counted correctly, there are only 12 you can actually use unless you get more from doing the Mantis boss fight after picking up the weapon here. There's one more fusion cannon pickup right before the campaigner, so 14 charges total, but he takes the weapon away from you anyways if you try to use it, so those are pretty much useless. Anyways, we head up the hair-raising stepping stones jumps, blast the Demon Lord, and head towards the lava pool. This is a good place to fire a fusion charge since there are 2 killer plants, a Demon Lord, and a bunch of pesky
Plumbers.
dragonflies. Also, the secret area in the fake lava pool has an ammo refill for it, so this will make sure that we get to make full use of it. After jumping over the cliff edge for the other secret area, we pick up the Mind Expander, and oh wow, maybe this can kill a Triceratops in one hit. I'll have to test that another day. After heading over the cliff edge and taking a look in this cave... Wait a minute. There's supposed to be beetles here. I think at the time, I assumed that my nuclear blast must have taken them out from here, but... I hate having a conscience and needing to verify things. This was probably the biggest facepalm discovery in the whole challenge. When I checked out these beetle spawns with console commands and slowed the game speed down to see where they went, I found them chilling down here all the way at the bottom of the map. Well, surely this kills them, right? No, not really. Enemies that die in this game won't respawn when you go through a portal, a spirit world portal, or reload a save. Turns out, something about their pathing and the extended draw distance used for this game of the remaster convinces these guys that they need to jump into the void to get to us. After realizing this, I revisited a few other levels to see if this had happened anywhere else, and the jungle actually had a similar problem. There was one beetle that would never show up, and I found him doing the same thing down here.
Why must life be so hard? Why must I fail in every attempt?
So, does this mean the challenge is impossible? For a lesser man, maybe, but I have way too much time to waste and too few hobbies to let it go. After some extensive testing, I discovered that if you turn off extended draw distance and enter, then exit a spirit world portal nearby, the beetles will respawn in their original places, and we have enough time to hop down here and exterminate them before they pull a Natasha Romanov off the cliff. Thankfully, the same thing works in the jungle, and to be certain I was getting everything, I painstakingly counted every enemy in every level to make sure everyone got what's coming to them. Apparently, I didn't learn my lesson about double checking my list though, and I missed the same poacher in the Treetop village. So, after restarting the challenge again, we took out all the beetles in the jungle, all 32 of them, the poacher that we missed in the Treetop village, made it all the way back to the Lost Land, and used the aforementioned strat to track down all 3 beetles. Eventually. Yep, these little pests caused more headache in this challenge than I would have ever imagined, but the little buggers couldn't hide from me forever. By the way, if you see me stopping after taking out any enemies from here on out, it's because I had notebook pages with every enemy group on every level listed on them, and I was making sure that I didn't miss one leaper, one deer, one boar, nothing. I'm almost certainly on a watch list now after describing a kill journal like that, but until I have a video break triple digits on views, I'm probably safe for the time being. P.S. I actually wrote the script so long ago that my other video only had double-digit views and I had to change it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate that. Alright, so now that we're through the war zone and at the lava pillars, we only have one difficult platforming challenge left in the game. First, we need to pick up the chronoceptor piece up top, then we drop down. The demon lords at the pillars that we needed to do the speedrun strat last time for the pillars to raise need to be dealt with, so we take out the first one, take out the second one, and pray that we don't make a boo-boo and have to start all over again. Thankfully, the Force is with us today, and we pick up Key 1 and head through the portal to take on the subterraneans at the top of the cliff. There are only 5 of these in the entire game, all of them up here and through this portal in this arena, and we are not playing games. We had to break out the slugs to take out the slugs. Get it? Because it's a shotgun. Then make our way to the fortress. Things are about to get a lot more chaotic here, with plenty of robots, demon lords, and raptor mechs that we need to euthanize. After cutting the swath through the platoon of baddies, we grab the final key and send some dinosaurs on an express flight from the lost land to the found land. One of the best things about the quad rocket launcher is how proficient it is at taking down the robots. One volley and a shot or two from weaker weapons will deal with them, but my minuscule brain wants to see the metal man go boom, so I just use 2 volleys to blast them to pieces. Being unnaturally afraid of doing the same thing that I did on this bridge last time, I take my time to line up the shots on the turrets, drop down to grab the second chronoceptor piece in case I get mayonnaise on the other one or something, and head up the steps to go deconstruct some more turrets. It's easy enough to turn the last few robots into scrap, and we're finally to the last level with everything checked off the list. Alright, time to get even with the campaigner and his mechanized army for everything they've put me through over the last few videos. No more running from cyborg sergeants, no more running by robots, no more fearing the dreaded door section. This is our time to shine. After the massacre outside, we wait for the first Spirit World portal to take full advantage of the ammo stockpile inside of it, then wait for the second one so we don't somehow forget one at the tail end of the challenge. Gotta say, it feels pretty great to be able to fight back against these cyborgs now.
I gotta tell you, this is pretty terrific.
We don't even need to get enemies to pick fights with each other anymore, since there's so much pain that we can inflict with our weapons now. After being so done for so long, we are finally so back. The robots get blown to pieces quickly with our rocket launcher, and the aliens are so pathetic that they can still be handled with our assault rifle, even at this point in the game. The long hallway and robo-dorks in the room at the end of it are no match for us anymore, and we make full use of our explosive shells to clear the halls of the door section effortlessly. Why there are still leapers at this point of the game is beyond me, but we deal with them handily and jump across the trapdoor to scrounge for some more ammo in the water tanks. The spiritual invincibility means we can obliterate this entire room full of silverback gorillas, but the next area has a couple that are actually pretty tough. These two are the same size as your garden variety purlins, but they have more health than even the giant ones from earlier levels, so we'll just call them elite purlins. We break down this guard robot into parts for Mad Cat's controllers, visit another secret area swarming with aliens, then go diving in the sewer to handicap ourselves further by getting a hearty dose of hepatitis. We get into a heated dispute with a handful of poop crabs that remind me of the appetizer from that one SpongeBob episode.
Run for your lives, everyone! It's the appetizer!
After launching this cyborg sergeant into Turok 2, we head to the bottom of the sewer to answer the age-old question, is sewage stronger than an atomic explosion? The answer may shock you. After shattering my self-esteem by missing an easy jump, I take out my inadequacy on a hallway of sergeants and initiate Chernobyl 2 in the room up the gravity lift. The robot in this little room disgusts me with his weakness now, so down he goes in a cloud of smoke and wires. After grabbing the spiritual invincibility in the next secret area, all of the next sergeants die of terminal cringe as we make an absolute mess with our noob tube in these narrow hallways. Turning off extended draw distance actually drastically changes a few rooms like this one, as there's apparently so much fog that I can't see the end of my gun, but can still see 10 feet in front of me. After taking the next lift up and approaching carpal tunnel syndrome from marking off all the enemies that I've taken down, we unleash the power of the sun, Sunny D style, and hop up into the final secret area of the game. We let loose another couple of nuclear farts, and cyborgs, robots, and aliens all go bye-bye. In the final room before the boss, we head up the lifts to take out the last 2 robots, make sure we don't accidentally fall in the death hole in the center of the room, and head through the teleporter at the end of the hallway for our rematch with Thunder. We have 2 fusion cannon charges to hit the beast with, and strafe as much as we can to avoid the furious onslaught of laser beams we're being bombarded with. While this was surprisingly a potentially more aggressive battle than we had with a knife, the wannabe Beast Wars Megatron goes down after some extensive explosive coercion. We're warped to the final hallway and pick up the last piece of the mythical weapon, the Chronoscepter. Even on hardcore difficulty, this weapon will absolutely terrorize the campaigner, which I suppose makes sense due to needing to collect a piece for it on each level. Without further ado, let's take on the Warlord himself. Now brace yourselves for the insane health bar destroying potential of the Chronoscepter. 3 shots from this beast will drop him all the way down to about 1/8 of his health, meaning just a handful of follow-up shots will finish him off for good. With how much ammo, armor, and health we have, this is a very one-sided fight already, but wow, am I glad that he can't knock you off the top of his castle, because we were absolutely catapulted at hypersonic speed directly towards the edge of the arena. Thankfully, no last-second Hail Mary strategy was able to steal victory from us, and we finally finished the challenge with a resounding
Victory! Play of the game.
Well, that turned out to be a lot more challenging than I initially thought it would be. Keeping track of the enemies, spawns, and collectibles, in addition to performing all of the platforming and combat efficiently enough to beat this without a death, was a bit of an undertaking. All in all, this challenge was still a lot of fun to complete, and thankfully the game isn't terribly long, so it's nice to be able to complete a run without leaving it on for an extended amount of time due to not using save points. I hope you enjoyed watching the systematic deconstruction of everything in the game, and there may be another Turok video in the future, something much quicker hopefully. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, or feel free to dislike and unsubscribe if you didn't. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, stay saucy everyone.